Saw it.
Which one?
I saw it to cut metal.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Cool. Hey, good morning. Not too bad, not too bad.
Okay, so yeah, like I said.
These are snippers.
We used a snipper before.
What's that?
Well, we used a snipper before.
Hey, Dave.
Should be there. So I'm sorry. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute you. Wait, oh, okay, you did. All right. So anyway, with Maya, hopefully she can hear. So, all right. So now that we're recording, my question was, Oscar, how are you feeling? And he went, eh. So yeah, this is the tough section because, you know, in the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it was worry about your proposal and your rationale. Now you're having to start dealing with the deliverable. So that's why I like to the process of get your rationale set up, then go look at your deliverable, because the rationale drives the deliverable. All the research you're doing, the secondary study or studies help inform that deliverable. So that's why I don't like starting on the deliverable until about now, week 5. However, some people like to follow the directions that are in Moodle, and absolutely, you know, you can do either way. But anyway, so this week, I recommended that you get started on whatever that deliverable is going to look like. So, Oscar, is yours remind me what yours is, what's your deliverable about?
Actually, deliverable is a manual for teachers how to implement the MUN model into the school
Model
process.
UN.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So I envision, so that's the deal. If a deliverable is designed for teachers, it needs to be attractive to them. And what I mean is, you know, color, but pictures, you know, we need to see something in action. Or, you know, if you get really fancy, you can embed some videos. So, hey, what, you know, when you get to this page, especially if this booklet is electronic version also, you know, you can click to see MUN, I guess we're going to call it, right? MUN in action. So that's the way to start thinking about the deliverable. Is you still want discussion about the research you've done. So the sections that UO People has you put in your deliverable, absolutely, but it's just a lot less than what's in your rationale. The discussion you have in your deliverable is really just to prove to the user this thing is evidence-based. I've done all this research. Here's the alignment with the research. But a lot of that should go in the appendix, because the main gist is that model United Nations process, the steps, whatever your guidebook's going to look like. If someone had, like, there are a few people doing a curriculum framework, and so, yeah, you're not going to have pictures and color, but it has to, you know, it can't just be all run together. It's got to be in sections that are clearly labeled. So the deliverable is meant to be handed to somebody and they start using it. So what does it need to look like in terms of graphics and font size and placement? All those things are important. Yeah, it's more important to research and, you know, tying, connecting to expert ideas, but it has to look good or else nobody's going to use it. Yeah, Oscar.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm trying to make a good design, but if you follow APA rules of formatting, and so that doesn't have any sense because you may create a great design, but you just screw it up when you decide to use the APA. So that's why I think I make a great design, and when I change it to APA, I lose that work. So
Okay, so yes, so in your rationale, you need to use APA formatting because that's what everybody's expecting to see. It is a research report, and every research report in the world looks the same. It has the same sections, it has the same font, it has the same headings, generally speaking. In the deliverable, yeah, you still need to capitalize, you still need to put punctuation marks, commas inside the quotation marks, but the headings are going to be different. The fonts are going to be different because it is the deliverable, the APA formatting you need to follow is ragged paragraphs. I don't know. I get your point, and I know that that is hard, but I never say any. The only thing I say about APA formatting with the deliverable is, hey, this needs to be double spaced because it's too hard to read. Or, hey, your headings need to be obvious headings. Do you have to use Times New Roman 12 point? Nope. Because maybe especially like in 5911, that's this primary, or I don't think we call it primary, but it's not secondary. It's, K through 6. Yeah, they like different fonts. They like handwriting font, whatever. I don't care. That part, yeah, it's a deliverable. Make it attractive to the user. If you have a curriculum if you have a curriculum framework, not using, I'm sorry, my cat is doing stuff and I'm sorry about that. So curriculum framework, you want Times New Roman 12 point because it's a report. It's for leadership. So don't worry about APA formatting strictly in the deliverable, other than you need to have headings. You need to place your images. You need to cite your images. You need to have a references section. But maybe you don't indent the paragraph because I don't know, it doesn't look right, whatever. You have a lot of freedom with the deliverable because it is a product that you are handing to someone. It's not official. Now, there are some districts, some leaders who don't want Arial 14, whatever, okay, so I think you get my point that the deliverable gives you a lot of freedom because it's yours. It is an individual product. The rationale is, like I said, that is a set format that every university, every journal uses that template. So yeah, it is, you have to use APA formatting on your rationale, and your template, it's yours. Go with it. It just depends on your audience. And that's true of anything, is who is your target audience? Is your target audience 4th grade teachers? Because you're doing a lesson guide on multiplication. I've had that before. It's different from a high school lesson on Model United Nations. Does that help? Okay. All right, so Maya's on mute, so maybe she wants to come in. Dave, you have anything?
Yeah, a couple of them. So I'm looking ahead to like the next sections. One of them, again, I'm still slightly stuck on this secondary thing. I'm sorry, because it says reading ahead in the reviews and critique. Explicitly, the guide says include discussions about the project findings you've had with the audience and stakeholders and share their perceptions and reactions.
I know.
And
And
I know you've answered my questions before. What's the correct
no,
way
it's
of
not the
filling that
questions.
section?
I have talked about this with the curriculum developer, that the language is confusing. And that's why I make videos instead of just, here's what you do, this, like
Gotcha.
okay, because I know it is confusing. It sounds like you're supposed to implement or at least show your deliverable to somebody, but you're not, because that is primary research and you're not authorized to do that. So you have to trust me, number one,
Mhm.
which I know is
Absolutely.
challenging because you're like,
No, no.
I don't know you, but trust me, I've done this course 8 times, I think, since it's been rewritten. And I like the way it's rewritten as far as the intent and the process. I like the deliverable flexibility. You're not just conducting a study, but it's just the language to me is confusing. So you don't implement what you are writing about is comparing the implementation of the studies, or maybe you chose one study that's really guiding you. Look at one study's implementation of their intervention, which is supposed to be similar to yours. That's why you're using that study. So, if your intervention is reading to kids after lunch, the studies you reviewed are all about reading to kids after lunch. So your rationale and your deliverable are referring to that study.
So it's more I'm reviewing whether those resources were useful and what the limitations were of them.
Exactly. So
There we go. Cool.
they developed or they read the book Shiloh to their kids after lunch. You don't have to read Shiloh, but you're reading to them after lunch. And you look at
Yep.
that and they go, yeah, we read 2 chapters a day, and man, the kids were calm, and their test scores went up. That's what should happen to you. You should read 2 chapters a day, or if you're only going to read 1 chapter, why are you only reading 1 chapter? That's okay.
Mhm.
It's your
Yep.
deliverable. You're the one being guided. Well, because I read other research that said you read 1 chapter, whatever. So I'm integrating these studies because by themselves, they don't quite fit my situation, but
Mhm.
they're close enough, and together, okay, so you are evaluating their actual implementation with what I originally said read 2 chapters. Now I'm reflecting, I now would only have them read 1 chapter, and here's why. So it's lessons learned through their experience as applied to what you are planning to do.
Are you aware of the team having trouble?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. I got to.
Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. That I think that maybe, I don't know if it's that the other instructors understand that, but I really had to think through what are they actually saying. And so just being a researcher, that is what we do. We look at other people's research
Mhm.
and we apply it. It's applied research, and that's what you're doing. You're researching and then you are applying it. But now for you, you're not actually applying it. You're kind of planning on applying it. So you don't actually have your own experiences to go, oh man, boy, here's what I learned. But you have a reflection because you thought you were going to read 2 chapters. You read about 1 chapter. You know what? On reflecting, yeah, it should only be 1 chapter. Or, on reflecting, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 chapters because whatever. Does that
Gotcha.
help?
And then, yeah, it does. Absolutely. The next question was the phrasing. Am I phrasing this as if I am the fictitious company? So should I be saying we will implement the following, as in because I'm on behalf of the company, or is it?
This is all about you. This is your deliverable. How
Okay,
will
cool.
you implement? And so I know there's some, everybody or not everybody, there are always people who, some of them actually invent findings. And so I have to go, you don't have to have findings. you're using someone else's findings to inform your own plan. So when it talks about discussing, you're discussing your implementation, you are discussing your planned implementation. So yeah, it's just it's still very good. It's just the language is I don't know the way it's written.
Yeah.
And so what I got was, well, you can rewrite it and submit it, and and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just, I'm just gonna tell, because I don't know if anybody else has this confusion except for me. So so like I say, just
No, I
trust me.
actually, I started this course before and dropped out because it was just, I couldn't get
I'm sorry.
clarity.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So you know, like I say, the the instructor who wrote this did a great job. I mean, I am very pleased with the the product. It's just the process. Right around now is when it starts getting confusing, because they're talking about discuss your implementation. Well, I didn't implement because I'm not supposed to. So that's why I say, here's what
Yeah.
it means.
okay.
So yeah,
And is there an overall word limit, or am I just kind of free reign? I'm not sure
that's
if I'm
another
going
thing.
way too far off the deep end.
No, because it says word count. The reason for a word count is
Brevity.
because you have to prioritize what you say. So if you ever try to publish, you are limited to maybe 4,000 words, maybe 5,000, whatever. And so you're like, I have 8,000. Yeah, well, you got to figure out what to chop out. So that was the intent for the word count. But generally in academia, if you're not limited to a word count, more is better. And we repeat ourselves a lot because you don't make the reader
That's good.
go back and figure out, wait a minute, what was the so I don't care anything about word count. Uh, you know, Now in a discussion forum, I put the maximum at 750 words in all my other non-capstone courses, because nobody has time to read it, and it forces the writer again to prioritize what's important to say. But in your report, you are not going to be limited, and it's so detailed because your reader has to know that you thought it. It's kind of like a counterclaim. So you're an argumentative. That's what your rationale is an argumentative essay.
And
I
so in that,
believe. Sorry.
so in that reflection where it says like, were there any difficulties? Is it just the best bet of having a couple of difficulties or something to write about?
So what were the difficulties in the study?
Yeah. So is it worth
And
just having
then,
like two?
I mean, there are limitations. What did they
Yeah.
run into? Like, I didn't have enough
Okay.
students in my sample, whatever. And then you reflect on their challenges. How are you
Okay.
going to overcome? Because you're probably going to have those same challenges. If they did, you probably will too, because their study is aligned with your idea, right? So, it's like teaching. If you, if you have the same students, you probably have the same experiences with behavior that the teacher next door does, because they're the same students. If you're the same type of teacher, it's the same thing in your study. If their study aligns with yours, you're probably going to hit the same problems. So
That makes sense.
how are you going to avoid, so if I said, I read 2 chapters to 20 students, but I didn't have enough books to go around, so I had to Xerox the copies for the other students. You may very well run into that as well. If you don't have enough copies, how are you going to overcome that? And I know my examples are super simple, just trying to make them general. If you have something more specific, absolutely bring it up in this meeting. That's what the meeting's for. But you don't invent any problems. You talk about the study's problems and how you're going to address them. Does that help? Ouch. Okay, so I don't know. I hope that helped. Everybody's on mute.
Sorry, it's the DC State Championship today for Vex Robotics, and I'm
Oh,
winning
well,
it. I'm
I
actually
won't
at school
keep
right
you.
now. So, cool.
I will-
So could you let me know when I'm in the feedback of my week 4 and just let me know if I'm on track?
Yeah, so I see I've got 9 more to grade. I did grading Thursday. So yeah, I tried to go through, that's why I like anything new to be in green, because like otherwise I have to reread the
I spotted that.
entire.
Yeah, sorry for that.
Yeah, but which I'm happy to do. And sometimes, because you're what you're writing is going to evolve. You're going to see something that, oh, that I should include that in my whatever. And I do also want to stress on the ethics, and this is kind of for everybody, where, you have to think about any ethical, y'all can't see this, but I've actually got 3 cats up here in front of me. So,
Should I put scholarly
anyway,
articles in there in that section?
what now?
Should I put links to articles in there in that section?
Links to your school?
The links to like, scholarly articles to support that.
So you are going to, that's part of your literature review.
Yep.
So the literature review is where you discuss at least 6 sources. They don't have to be studies, but if you're, what's your topic
Oh, mine was the AI scheme of work.
for students?
Yeah, the AI thing with the supporting teacher training.
Okay, so your ethical challenges will be not only, everybody says, well, there's no primary data, but your ethical challenges are you going to train teachers to use AI? They're going to train their students, and now their students are cheating blatantly because of your deliverable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, like, how am
Yeah.
I going to guard
Gotcha.
against coming across as tell your students to use AI or whatever? It sounds ridiculous, but in other deliverables, so in, Oscar's doing Model United Nations, he has to guard against representing, potentially representing a country as being less
Superior or
important.
yeah, you've got a whole thing of like, yeah.
So that's his ethic. How are you going to guard against hurting your users? It doesn't have much to do with the data. Okay, you don't have any primary data. Yes, true. But there's way more to what we design as educators that could potentially lead someone down a wrong road. And some stuff you can't help. But anyway, so ethical, and then the limitations, it's like, I didn't have primary data. Yeah, but also you can't control for your if your users are teachers, you can't control for how they use this deliverable. So I have done what? What have you done to address the potential for whatever limitation
Gotcha.
so like for example, in mine of reading to your students, and I use that because I did that just on the fly when I taught 6th grade before. So I always go back to it. So in my deliverable, read to your kids, after recess. And then some teacher goes out and reads a book that's not appropriate for 6th grade. I should have addressed somehow in my deliverable, read these here are a list of books you can read, right? Like I would go to that degree to avoid a potential user reading a book that might not should be read. That's my Southern coming out. Might not should be read to a class of 6th graders.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Okay.
yeah. But you know, you have a lot of freedom, but because of that, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. Like you have more to think about. In a study, this is what you do. Mixed method study, this is what you do. For y'all, do what you do. Oscar's going to do something different from Dave and Maya.
Okay, that really helps. Okay, thank you. I should have this week pretty much all of it done.
Yeah, and you know, that's the other thing for everybody listening is it's not that you don't have to turn in something each week, but you don't, because I get it. Sometimes there's just not really anything to turn in, or you didn't, you know, maybe you were working on something else. I'm fine with that because that's how the research process works. Now, the course was designed,
Sorry.
you know, for y'all to follow a process. But also your grown-ups, you know, kids, you have to tell them because they don't have any experience. But for y'all, you have experience building products, not to this extent. But anyway, so that's why I'm a little more flexible with, if you don't turn in something, that's okay. Because you got to turn it in Unit 8. So if you're working on something and you're like, I didn't get enough done, okay, don't turn it in. It doesn't matter, because in the end, I go back and every weekly grade,
Mhm.
except the discussion forum, every weekly grade is going to be whatever Unit 8 is.
Okay, cool. Okay, yep. So my blank week 2 should get fixed.
Yeah,
That's
it will.
reassuring. Thank
It
you.
will. Yes.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. Okay, right. Unfortunately, I got to go, but yeah, that's really
Okay.
that's clarified and added me a couple of useful things to those last couple of
Good.
sessions. That's
Okay.
really helped out.
All right. Well, I like it that you ask questions, and I appreciate you putting them in the course forum so everybody can see.
Cool. Okay, have a great day. Thanks so much.
Okay, you
Bye-bye.
too. Okay, Oscar or Maya, anything? I'm happy to stay on. I don't want to sit here and ramble.
Just, I just rechecking my delivery. The thing is, I will have some free time, so I was able to work on the project so that by the advance and finish it everything. So I already have my whole delivery complete, because the thing is, I like to do it, share to you, but I want to receive the feedback. I receive feedback for the rationale, but not for deliverable. But the grade for deliverable was really, I don't know, not good.
So I probably did not realize your deliverable was complete. So if you'll put a little note that says, I think because I think you can type I think there's a way you can type notes or something to me. I'm not sure, but when you upload them, just put a little note in there. It says, I think my deliverables complete, because I didn't see it that way, but I wasn't looking for it to be complete. So when
Okay, yeah.
did you
I
submit it? It's ready to be graded?
Yeah, but the information you told me today, I'm gonna modify, because I want to modify format, include I have a lot of tables, but the tables are in APA, so I want to
They
change it
have to
for.
be, so
for
that
more
would be
format.
another thing, your table. Yeah, so there are some things that like you have to use APA because this is how you do it. But like I said, the margins may be different, or your heading, you know, but your
I'm gonna
table needs to
reformat
be,
I'm gonna reformat all of them to make it more likable, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like attractive for the reader.
Mhm,
And with the
mhm.
images, I'm working on it. So I hope to deliver the whole deliverable to this week with all the information complete.
Yeah, so I would say experience, it's not going to be complete till Unit 8, because you're still working. You're still on your rationale, and you're going to learn things and go, that would be very good for my deliverable. So I understand the desire to be done with that deliverable, but I don't think it's going to be complete, because you're still going to be learning over the next 3 weeks, I hope. So the deliverable should be improved upon. I mean, it's just like a lesson. You teach a lesson, you're like, well, that didn't go like I thought, so I'm gonna revamp. That's what you should be doing with your deliverable. It should not be, yeah, in my opinion. Now, if you said I'm not gonna work on it anymore, okay. But I don't think you're gonna feel good about that. So does that make sense?
Okay, so I wanna finish improve my version. If I new things coming out, so I'm gonna make changes on deliverable. But at least I have it's a document of 100 pages, something like that. So that's why I told
100
you.
pages on your deliverable.
Yes.
Oh, and it's a model United Nations.
It's actually a manual for teacher and
Yeah.
an adaptation for how to create for each level. So it's a long work because the idea is it's like step by step for a teacher that he can look. Yeah, I'm in
That
second
is
graders.
what
I'm
teachers
teaching this
need.
subject.
Mhm.
Exactly. So if I but
Yeah,
it's pretty
and
clear.
so
I have good examples for every stuff for
mhm,
every part.
perfect.
So
Perfect. Because you know how many times you get something and then it's like, wait, I also have to make card, I have to design a card, or whatever. So 100 pages is fine. That said, I would link your section. So, in your table of contents, if if ninth grade starts on page 52, link it. So now
it's
hard
already done.
copy, you can't do that. Yeah. So on all that, and then just put all that writing about ethics and limitations and studies and in appendixes in the back. Because if I open a book and there's 50 pages of reading first, I'm not going to do it. I mean, I need to see, does this thing work? And if it does, then I'll go back and read all that. So if you have a lot of that up front, and I don't remember, if you have a lot of that up front, a little bit about what the purpose is, all that. But the meat, like here's the proof, put that in the back because I'm a busy teacher. I don't have time to, unfortunately, I mean, we tell our kids, read everything, but do we do that? No, because we don't have time. So, that's the kind of feedback I would give you as you submit is like, hey, move this to the back. This isn't clear, whatever. But as far as the information, I don't know if it's right or not. I mean, I've never done Model United Nations, right? So I trust you on that. What I can read are the studies and go, he didn't interpret that correctly, or I completely agree. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, keep working on that deliverable. I think you're going to add to it ideally, but I trust you. If you feel like it's as good as it's going to get, then great, you're done. I mean, you're done. You got to be done at some point.
no, there's always a time and option to improve. Always. But in one moment you need to stop. So but so I like to keep it like a base, and if I find some new discoveries, so I'm gonna use it to improve the work, but some parts only because the thing is I already have all the information there, so it's just
Yeah.
to make adjustments, but not
Yeah.
to create a document again.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, and yeah, 100 pages is fine. I mean, if you need it, but just like I say, I think you might hit a mental wall if everything's up front. So I trust you, and I look forward to seeing it.
No, if these many pages are appendix because yeah, the thing is that there are many appendix because I create rubrics for every criteria. So I give the rubrics to the teachers ready. So make it more easy.
Yeah.
For them. So, but this is an appendix of rubrics. It's appendix with information that they're going to use it and formats and getting grids and.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, like I said, if you tell me, I think it's pretty much complete, then I will view it from that frame, and then, I would give you feedback like move this or, whatever. But yeah, I trust you. I mean, I don't remember anything standing out so far. I mean, I would have said this doesn't look right or something like that. So yeah, I think you're doing fine. I'm excited to see it. And there's nothing that says once you graduate, you can sell this thing. You know, I mean, it's yours, right? So
Yeah.
it's exciting. That's
So
why I
actually,
like I like this new these new outcomes more than a study. I like the deliverable because, you know, I've always wanted to put together a guidebook on Model United Nations. Here's your time to do it. And now you know how to make it comprehensive and justified and producible. So yeah, good.
The things actually, to be honest, the thing is, I lost my job in December, so I have some spare time. So use it. That's why I advance everything I can.
That's
So
right.
I'm in a new job now in a different city. I have to move. So
Oh,
it's kind of crazy. But the thing is, that I advance all the things that I can do. But my idea is to in this new school that I'm working with, I'm going to implement the program.
yeah.
That's the idea.
Awesome. Good. Okay, well, yeah, like I say, if you want to be done with the deliverable, just put a note and say, I think I'm done, and then you don't have to work on it anymore. It's up to you.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, so before we go, Maya, do you have anything? I haven't heard from you. Are you okay? Can I do anything for you? Or maybe it's Maya. I think it's Maya. Okay. All right, well, yeah, so Oscar, I mean, like I say, I'm happy to hang on, or if you're good, then, you know, you don't need to stay. It's up to you. You good? Okay. All right, well, yeah, so I don't know if Maya is going to, she might not be able to. Sometimes people are calling in from their phones and they don't have all the capability. So Oscar, if you're done, you can say goodbye or we can stay on and talk some more. It's up to you. You done? Okay.
Guys, thank you very
Okay.
much. Have a good
Well,
one.
thank you. All right, we'll
Bye.
see you. Okay, so Maya.